और इस वक्त चेयरमैन सेनेट रज़ा रब्बानी कॉन्फ्रेंस से खिताब कर रहे हैं।
Changing. A world where new scenarios are emerging by the day. We saw a little while ago Donald Trump announce his new policy on Afghanistan. We saw Trump placing the blame of the failures of the United States on the shoulders of Pakistan. We saw the United States ignoring the sacrifices, the tragedy, the tearing under of our society. And then we saw two days ago that the Vice President of the United States has the gall, has the audacity to say that he puts Pakistan on notice. But let the word ring out in clear terms that Pakistan is a sovereign state and is not in the habit of taking notices from anyone, least alone the United States. Then as we move on, and we are talking in the context of terrorism, as we move on, we find the Middle East. We find that the United States pursued a policy of regime change, of bringing about destabilization in Muslim countries, in trying to play the fault lines of ethnicity and sectarianism. And then, finally, the blunders of all blunder committed by the United States was the recognition, the so-called recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. What they fail to understand is that they are neither supported in practicality nor in fact and nor by history in their decision to recognize Israel, to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. And I believe that a befitting reply was given to the United States at the UN General Assembly when over 120 nations rejected the decision of the United States. And then we saw the arrogance of the superpower. We saw the arrogance ooze out from the superpower. But what they failed to realize is that after recognizing Jerusalem, they have given birth to a new intifada that will take place as the resilient and oppressed and suppressed people of Palestine will move to achieve their historic rights. But that does not bring us to the end. As we are talking about terrorism in the region, all these are factors which need to be figured in. And the latest factor again was provided by the United States. And that factor is of utmost importance. That pertains to and deals with the first foreign policy statement that has been made by Donald Trump. in which he has identified three main sets of challenges to the United States, and that they come from China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and the jihadist terrorists. As we go further and explore that document, we find that China, its status has been changed from a strategic ally or strategic partner to now a revisionist strategic competitor. The three main challenges identified are China and Russia, and according to the United States documents, the rogue states of Iran and North Korea, and transitional organizations of jihadist terrorists. The document further depicts both China and Russia as revisionist powers seeking to change the status quo, challenge American powers, influences and interests, and attempting to erode American security and prosperity. It is in this context that we must view and carry forward our discussions of today. And when we talk of countering terrorism, and we talk of it in a global reality, then I think what needs also to be homed in, to be taken note of, to be conscious of, when we deliberate and we try to come to a decision, is that a new nexus, and I may be wrong, but according to me, a new nexus has emerged. And that new nexus is between the United States, Israel, and India. And when we talk of India in our own context, we find that perhaps the United States is trying to use or build up India in the context of being the policeman of the region. But we believe that Pakistan as a nation believes in dialogue, believes in friendly relations with its neighbors. But we believe that all of this stems and flows basically from the Bandung principles. And until and unless India is willing to talk in terms of equality, of sovereign equality, in terms of the Bandung principles, we will perhaps be just looking at the mirage of peace in the region. The other factor which has also been touched upon is that we cannot get away from the reality that the conflicts that take place essentially emanate from a so-called superpower's desire to have total control over the natural resources and the oil in the Middle East. They are compelled to keep their war-driven economies going by creating conflicts in various regions and countries so that their factories of war continue to produce. And then, of course, There is the fear of CPAC and the one road and one belt. Given the economic and security regime, we, the 6 countries, need to draw from our history, but not to be bogged down or to become hostage to it. We need to build the alliance on the terms of fair play, not challenging each other's existence. We need to reassess the fact that our heroes and villains don't continue to be the same people. We need to develop the Euro-Asian heartland concept, and we need to accept and take forward the One Belt, One Road initiative. Pakistan is geographically and historically placed at perhaps the most advantageous position in terms of both these initiatives. Our alliance needs to be an alliance against extremism, terrorism, and sectarianism. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable speakers, I believe the time has come when history looks upon us, when historians of the future will not spare us. We need to look eastwards. We need for Asia to assume its own leadership. We need for Asia to assume and take control of its own resources. We need for Asia to move for the betterment of our own people, for it is time that Asia decides its fate itself. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was Senator Raza Rabbani. And now, with utmost respect,
पहली 6 मुल्की स्पीकर्स कॉन्फ्रेंस से चेयरमैन सेनेट रजा रबानी खिताब कर रहे थे, जिसमें कहना था अमेरिका अफगानिस्तान में अपनी नाकामी की जिम्मेदारी पाकिस्तान पर डाल रहा है। पाकिस्तान एक आज़ाद मुल्क है, अमेरिका या किसी और मुल्क से नोटिस का आदी नहीं।